Hello YouTube. Sorry about that. This is Game Master 688, and I'm gonna be talking about the Super Joy. Now, if you already know the Super Joy, you may be noticing a piece might be missing here. I took it out because I'll explain later why I took it out. But anyways, wondering why it looks like a Nintendo 64 if you never heard of it. This is like the Super Joy. It plays like old video game systems. I think it was 76,000 NES games. It's a lot. I wish I could show you gameplay of it, but this thing is kind of broken now. It smells like smoke, so I'm not gonna even try. Like in the back of here, you could put your NES games here. Okay. Now you may be thinking, why would you put your NES games here if this system has 76,000 NES games? Hold on, let me take this out. Okay. Well, the problem is, they give you games, but not a lot. They give you the same games every time, like Super Mario. Like, it's not like adventure games like Zelda or anything. They don't give you all those good games. Like Mario and Contra is a good game. And there's some other games, but they keep putting it in there, like the same ones. So if I want to play a different game, I gotta like figure out the name because they put different names on it and stuff. So anyways. And here's a second player controller, plus the gun that came with it. Now, it looks like the Sega Genesis controller. And the gun is just the gun, pretty much like Duck Hunt gun. But it's going to be useless now because they still, like, I got this from last year. But what's even the point of getting this if the gun doesn't even work on new TVs? So anyways, they only work on like round screen TVs. Pretty much, in other words, old TVs. Okay, so the gun's kind of useless. I don't know if it still works. Now, the funny thing is, the plug right here is similar to the Sega Genesis plug. And the funny part is, if you plug the Sega Genesis into this part right here, it'll still work. But if you plug this into the well, I can't get mixed up. If you plug the Sega Genesis controller in here, in this system, it'll work. But if you plug this in the Sega Genesis, it won't work. My guess because it was made differently or something, because it has more buttons right here. I'm going to be like comparing the controllers and stuff. Start with Sega Genesis. Okay, the D-pad. This has a hole in it because you get this thing you can like, I forget what's it called. Like, it's kind of like the arcade where you move it around, but you can put your thumb, move it like that, or you could just use the D-pad. So you can put it on and off. This one's just a regular D-pad. The buttons, the start button's like all the way up here, and the other start button's like next to like the buttons right here. This has 6 buttons, and pretty much they're the same. And there's pretty much 3 buttons. Now, with the Sega Genesis, with the Nintendo 64 controller, the D-pad's the same. And by the way, you actually use the D-pad in this a whole bunch of times. And I'll get back with the analog stick. The start button kind of got replaced with the reset button to restart the system. And this is part of the system. The first and like the first player and the system. This is it pretty much. The A and B button pretty much got replaced as start and select. Okay, let me kind of make it brighter here, I think. Okay, that's much better. The C buttons pretty much are like BA, BA. Now, pretty much the C button is not here in the R now, but you got this thing. pretty much like the, let's just say the rumble pack goes in there. But this is actually a battery pack where you can put batteries instead of plugging it in the system. But all batteries doesn't fit in. You can only fit 3. Try to fit the 4th one, it will be difficult. Okay, I forgot how this goes in. And the analog stick. Like I said, I removed it because it's useless. You couldn't move it around. It's like stuck there. And pretty much, you got 2 buttons here, like NES games. B and A. This is like turbo. So one of these 2 are turbos. But I'm confused. Why they give out 3 buttons with the Sega Genesis controller right here? Well, this is pretty much called a power player. And pretty much, I don't know why would they give 3 buttons. They should have made like a NES controller instead, or designed their own controller. Yeah, you plug first player in here, or I mean second player in here, plus the gun. Pretty much all the games are the same. Now, like I said, you can put your NES games in here. So if the games is not in here, which I think you could like put them in here. Like I didn't try this before because I just realized it now. I think when you put the game in there, erase one of the same copies and add this game in it, or is this going to be just like a regular NES? So this is pretty much a NES, gives you other controller plus the gun, and then you gotta buy your games. But what's the point if it gives you free games in here? Now that's pretty much it. But they made another one, and I think it's the same company because pretty much they use the same plug like the Sega Genesis. It's called the Power Games. This little penguin thing. It's called the Power Games. You see, like, there's this sling kind of wiggling around. I don't know if I should pull it. I think you can put NES games in here too, but if I could put this in an NES, I think I need like a Game Genie to put it in and stuff. But I'm not sure if should I pull it out. I might do it one day, probably find out, maybe break or something, but I really don't care. I don't use this. Now, this is actually the system, no like controller. You can plug the controller here, but I tried doing that once, it doesn't work. You need this controller with no wires on it. You gotta put 3 batteries, sensor, and I'm kind of getting confused because I kind of forget which one's the on and off button, like right here. Wait, hold up, let me try to make it a little bit brighter. Okay. Yeah, like the circle and the line, I kind of get confused a little. I really don't care. It doesn't work because you can't see right there the battery kind of exploded and probably messed up the thing. Anyways, the other controller, which is here, it's pointless to put in the system. You put it in the controller again, like in the first player controller. Plus the sensor part, it's going to be irritating because if you're trying to play a game like Contra, which this doesn't have Contra, it has the second one, it'll be more difficult. And you could actually plug in this controller in there. What I like about this one better than the Super Joy, they actually have different games like Friday the 13th, Mario Bros, Contra 2. Like I said, this doesn't really have any good games. Doesn't really work, so I can't show you any gameplay. You need like a special plug, which I don't have anymore, which I think I lost it. You can't use like those bigger plugs with the NES because I think this one kind of like burned it a little, like because it smells like smoke. But this I didn't get to try out. I tried it out a long time, but I don't have the plug for it. So pretty much I might keep this one, but I'm gonna make another video about looking inside the Super Joy. And probably I might make a portable NES out of it. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video about the Super Joy review. I'm going to make other reviews and Let's Plays. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. What should I review next or do a Let's Play on? And just subscribe.